Chase! What a return.
I'm still shocked by like the what the fuck of this moment.
We were running overtime last episode, and like we really needed to stop for the day, and so that was just an incredible what the fuck.
It was really jarring. It's very jarring.
And here we are a week later, just wondering what's going to happen here. I'm definitely wondering, because of the way that it cut, like, were we in the middle of one of our like Carl's house moments, and then we were found by Flynn, and he woke us up just now out of the thing?
That I feel like that's, you know, Occam's razor. I feel like as much as, which is funny because that's already like a bizarre situation, that's actually less complicated, I think, than this actually happening. Because then you also would have to explain why Flynn is here.
Yeah.
Like Flynn would have to be hanging around the mines for some fucking reason. Yeah. And then all this other stuff that just happened to us.
Or it just hooks into whatever the fuck he's up to in his storyline, essentially.
Basically, like the easiest answer to this situation would be it was just a dream or a drug trip, as opposed to trying to explain any aspect of this. So that might be what actually is happening, but...
He might genuinely have woken us up, but in the mine.
That's true, too.
We might actually be in the mine. It's just we might have been in a fucked up Silent Hill monster version of the mine, and that's because, you know, shit was happening.
Then what the fuck is Flynn doing here?
Because Brian got disintegrated or something. I don't know if it was confirmed he was dead. It just seemed likely like he was probably dead.
He got attacked by some fucking alien or something.
Also, over the last week, I've been wondering, like, is Keith here? Is he one of the bodies in that room?
I don't know, Keith. Is Keith here?
Because, like, we know that they were involved, and he's just never been seen.
Well, no, but in his story... What happened to Keith in his story? In his story, he was talking about how there was that guy who he would just fuck every once in a while, and he just... I forgot if he mentioned what happened to Keith after that.
I'm trying to remember. I'm wondering if we should just review.
It's really far back. Yeah.
It's a little frustratingly far back. I'm wondering about this because I'm wondering if to hook back to other characters. Fucking, it's too far back. This controller doesn't work for this.
That's fucking far back too.
Research. This is my life when I'm trying to write scripts about this shit, because it's just such a nightmare to actually find where you mean to get to for this. Fuck.
Yeah, maybe honestly, maybe it was before, because I think this was the final reveal, this was the most fucked up reveal.
I don't know if I can find it reasonably.
It's okay. Well, it's okay.
I want to, though. I slump to my knees, shaking uncontrollably as Flynn shines a light down on me. Fuck. Chase, come on, let's go. Flynn yanks me to my feet, and the next thing I know, I'm stumbling after him. Out of the mine, and out of what I'm now completely convinced is hell. I sit in the passenger seat of Flynn's truck, feeling numb. I choose to stare out the window, watching the desert rush by as Flynn tries to ask me questions. Where's the bear? I shake my head. Is he still in the mine? I think so. What happened? I don't know. It feels strange being back out here. While everything is definitely fucked up and strange out here in Echo, at least it makes some sense. The mine is completely different. It's chaos. That's the word. Chaos. What? How did you find me? I look back at Flynn and see that he's staring at me closely, barely keeping an eye on the road. I went to Leo's house. Found all you guys there. Except you, of course. Just waiting? I don't know how I feel about the idea of all my friends just sitting around while a serial killer had kidnapped me. Of course, none of us really knew Brian was a serial killer.
I think y'all could have guessed, maybe. Yeah. Like, I don't know. He definitely hurt some people. A serial people herder, at the very least.
Yeah. But also, none of them have a car or know where Brian went.
Yeah, I don't really know how they'd start to look for you, Chase. Like,
Apparently Flynn did.
With his special
our hero.
lizard
His
senses.
insights. That's how he gets all of the best gifts. Well, a lot was going on. Kudzu, that raccoon, is the one that told me you were missing. Leo, on the other hand, said you were fine, that he saw you around the house.
What the fuck? Uh-oh.
So Leo's hallucinating and seeing the other us, and so he didn't even realize that we were kidnapped. And he won't believe Kudzu because he's paranoid. What?
Well, it's good that Flynn believed Kudzu and not Leo. Because that could have changed everything.
He does hate Leo.
Yes. And no one really hates Kudzu.
No one. Flynn shrugs. I even called the episode where he takes care of us, I titled that episode, I Ship It.
I do ship it.
Because it's like, it's the most healthy relationship so far in the game.
He could take care of us.
I have no fucking clue. But he was practically holding everyone hostage. Wouldn't give the keys up, so I had to take my own truck out here. Is everyone okay? Hopefully. Jenna said she'd try and keep him calm while I came and looked for you. How'd you know I was in the mine? Well, Kudzu pointed out the direction you went. I drove up the canyon since it's basically the only place we could go. I saw where he'd parked and knew we'd taken you in there. But how did you know about the back entrance? Flynn smirks as we come out of the curvy Echo Canyon onto a straight road to Echo.
Flynn knows about the back entrances, okay? Like,
he knows all about back entrances. Does it really matter? Either way, I know a lot about the town. I watched Flynn for a while, until he finally glances back at me. What? Where the hell have you been the past few days? Oh, in the town hall, managing stuff.
yeah, that's what.
Stuff?
That's what I'd say if you asked me about what I was doing at work, and I'm like,
you know what I was doing?
I'm managing stuff. Like, don't worry about it.
It's funny that, like, yeah, in media, it's framed as suspicious if you give a deflecting answer about your job, but in reality, that's every time I've ever tried to explain my job to anyone, I just immediately am like, yeah, it's, you know, I upload things.
It's like in Seinfeld, there's a whole joke where George Costanza, he like, there's been a few times he's had to lie about him having a job, and he always lies. He's like, oh, I work for, he always says he works for the same place, but it's not real. And he's like, what do you do? And he's like, plastics. Or like, or he just says like, oh, or like, oh, I work in, what's it called? Like importing and exporting.
Mm-hmm.
First we import, and then we export the stuff, you know? We import the stuff, and we export it. And sometimes he's like, I'm an architect. He's like, I built that building over there. Like, he always, it's always Vandelay Industries, I think. It's something like that. But he always like has, his name is Art Vandelay. He works for Vandelay Industries. But he always has like a fib about his job that's like really, really underdeveloped. And that's the joke, is that it's like a really bad lie. Because he's like, oh, importing and exporting. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, no one knows what the fuck that means.
But like, I just sound like I'm lying about my job when I'm telling the truth about my job.
I manage people. That's enough work. For
me, it's rough because if I go like even one detail deeper, immediately I could just see exactly when comprehension ends and their eyes glaze over and they don't actually want to hear anymore.
I hate when people ask about what you do. Like there's only a few situations where I feel like that's relevant. Like if you're trying to date someone, I guess it's good to know that they have a job.
Yeah.
So asking them something like that's important. But like when you're at like a family gathering and someone asks like, oh, like, how's work? Like, what do you do exactly? It's like, I don't want to fucking talk about that. And you know I don't want to talk about that, you bitch. Like, you're not going to care anyway. It's like, what kind of question is that?
I'm fine talking about my job, but no one actually wants me to. They like, whenever they prompt that, and then I give, like, a kind of non-answer, and then they want to dig deeper, immediately they regret it. They immediately regret it when I go any deeper because it's completely incomprehensible.
Too techie. Or, like, I'm an older person, and I don't relate to what you do, Keith.
Because I was at a get-together, and, like, there was one specific person who I just, from a history, just know is cooler, basically. And we talked about this shit for an hour. Like, we just went and talked about it for an eternity. For, like, everyone else there, it's like, oh, yeah, you know, I just, whatever. Oh, how do you make? Oh, you get paid doing that? How do you?
Yeah, how are your podcasts?
There's more
you make
questions.
podcasts, right, Keith?
There's more detailed discussion of how it makes money than there is about like what I actually do for a living and like what I create or what any of that means. Like just like they're way more interested in the logistics of how it actually creates money than the part where I do something. And I'm like, that's depressing.
The
'Cause that's the part I try to think about the least.
yeah, I mean that's the heartless part. But no, I mean I had to have the same conversation with my dad when social media first started, like, or when YouTube first came out and the people were making money off of it. I had to sit there and explain like how that's a possibility for people. And then when I told him about you, he asked me the same question again. I had to go over it again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, that sounds so easy. Like, you should do that. And I was like, no, Dad, I have as much tech savvy as you. In fact, I probably got that from you. So you know how inept I'm going to be at something like that.
We could probably eventually set you up with the, like, to where the point where you memorize the steps of being able to, like, let's play or vlog or whatever.
It's going to be like a children's book.
The issue is just that you have to, like, start from fucking scratch. Like, I went full-time very shakily and questionably in 2016 when I started in 2011. That is not a rapid arc to success. It took 5 years to make enough money that it was making more than my shitty entry-level and data entry job that I got, where when I entered college it was an internship job, but when I finished college it was a college bachelor degree job, because that's how the job market do. They just keep the same jobs but increase the demands for who's allowed to get them.
Yeah.
But then it's not like you get into a demanding job when you get it. It's like it didn't become more demanding of expertise. They just filtered out people and were like, nah, you have to get a degree to get this job that doesn't require, that in no way needs any expertise from your degree.
And I'm sure it didn't improve the quality of the staff. Like, it probably just,
yeah,
it was the same anyway.
Suffering. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry.
Ask
Tangent,
me
guys.
about my job, but only if you can. That's the thing, we're talking to people who actually would talk. Like, I could talk to the people listening right now about all sorts of things related to these things, but there are all these questions that when a normal person asks me these questions, it's a trap, and I will immediately regret trying to answer it. And then you can, if I go for too long, you can tell when they're trying to, like, escape. Because of how much they don't actually care.
I just try to keep it really concise for that exact reason. I just like, I'm a boss. That's my job, guys. I'm people's bosses. Can you believe that? Who the hell allowed me to do that?
Imagine. Seriously.
I manage like 30 people.
Imagine it.
Imagine all the people.
You said 30, so it made you sound like a teacher.
Who have to listen to Stephanie.
That's not how that song goes.
No, it's not.
It turned into a country song halfway through.
I can figure out how to fit it into the rhythm. I have as much rhythm as I have tech savvy.
Imagine all the people obeying Stephanie.
Woo-hoo.
So you can.
That was great.
Anyway, managing stuff like everything going on. I tried to find you guys at the hotel at Carl's house, but I didn't see anyone. I assumed you'd try to leave. That answer is far from satisfactory, but I have no energy to dig deeper. So, are we going back? Yep. Then what? Well, they were saying something about a train, so I assume we try to get out that way. Sounds like you already found out you can't drive out. Yeah. We turn on the road to Leo's house, and as I watch the house draw close, I can't help the growing sense of dread in the pit of my stomach. Remember when the stakes were that we were going to confront Leo about text messages?
It is funny to think about. Like that's not important now.
Right at the moment of trying to confront that, all this shit's happening. Also, I find Flynn's answer completely satisfactory. Honestly.
What about the train?
Like, he looked around and none of us were around, and at the places that he figured we'd be. And also he did have to shit to deal with because he works at town hall and the town is dying.
Yeah, but I don't. I mean, it's hard to
like
it's hard to imagine that town hall in and of itself isn't affected by this chaos. You think everybody like in that building working with Flynn would be flipping out over shit?
It seems inconsistent from person to person.
Flynn's just too real. Like he's just like his cynicism allows him to like not see.
He's just such a rational skeptic. But like town hall's where they found that's where the body was. Kudzu saw the body in town hall from somebody who tried to escape town.
Oh yeah.
And so like shit has been happening in the proximity of Flynn. Like he has his own shit going on. As soon as we step to the doorway, I'm engulfed in a combination of beige, gray, black, and white fur as I'm surrounded by my friends. Jenna, Carl, and Kudzu were all talking at once, asking me how I am. What happened? If I'm okay. Flynn puts up his hands. Guys, let him breathe. I don't think he's up for talking too much. Jenna and Carl step back, but Kudzu doesn't. He's got a hand on my shoulder, gripping it like he doesn't think I'm real.
And then we kiss. Hey, I'm sorry. I should have been more careful. I should have let you piss on my fucking carpet instead, or something.
It takes me a second to realize what he's talking about. The thing that got me into Brian's trap in the first place. The ultimate danger.
Pissing.
Nothing makes Chase more vulnerable to Brian and Duke than pissing. It's the worst thing he can do in this timeline. It makes me laugh a bit at how earnest Kudzu looks compared to what just came out of his mouth. I also realize that I want to hug him really, really badly, so I do.
Oh, he smiled at us.
I feel the raccoon stiffen for a moment, then hug back. It feels so fucking good to be in the arms of someone I trust.
Oh, Leo.
Exactly what I was thinking of, like, get dunked on Leo. And it seems to break through the numbness that I'm feeling, at least a little bit. Carl seems to take that as an invitation to hug as well, and Jenna joins in. No, guys, just Kudzu. I don't mind, and I wish I could stay like this forever. Actually, I just wish this all hadn't happened in the first place. It comes to an end eventually, and Kudzu is the last to draw back. I'm about to ask where TJ is when I see Leo. The wolf stands at the entrance to the hallway, his eyes on me and Kudzu. Great. Great.
Chase is like, no, but other people were hugging me too, right? Like
Yeah,
everybody was hugging me. Like
it's
it's okay.
Yeah, it was the world's biggest hugger band ball.
Also, you didn't notice I was fucking gone?
He's got a pillow in one paw, and his shirt is hitched up over his stomach a bit, like he just pulled it on. What are you doing? The room goes quiet, and the mood immediately changes.
Oh.
Carl, Jenna, and Kudzu all look weary. No one says anything. I clear my throat. I'm back. Brian took me to... Leo frowns. Back? No. You were in my room and asked for a pillow. We were... What were you up to in there, Leo?
Who were you canoodling with? A ghost?
Leo's glare turns on Kudzu. Have they been telling you to say this? Leo, no. The look in my former boyfriend's eyes is completely alien to me. I've never seen that look from him before. I guess I knew that the town, or whatever all this is, has gotten to him, but not completely taken him. Now I'm not sure. Kudzu stands next to me, his shoulder in front of mine. Leo eyes him again before turning back to me. Chase, come here. I don't move. The room is completely silent. Chase, I said come here. Leo, what the hell? Leo ignores Flynn, his steely eyes on mine. The feeling of coming to a safe place is completely gone.
Oh no, it's so bad.
Maybe we should just leave Leo and Echo.
Yeah. I mean, I'm cool.
Let's all go back to town hall, everybody. Everyone in Flynn's truck or whatever it was.
Yeah, I said truck, so everyone pile in the back, you know? We could hug the whole way there. Just leave Leo behind, you know?
Echo has seeped into every part of my life, it seems. But I don't move, and neither does Kudzu. Leo doesn't seem to know what to do. His face transforms from anger to confusion. Jula, you were just in the bedroom with me, telling me... Leo trails off. I was in the mine, Leo, with Brian. Leo stares. The silence drags on until a soft clicking comes from the kitchen. Everyone looks as TJ emerges, staring at us all with sad, lost eyes.
Is the clicking his little claws on the floor?
The tile or
That's
whatever,
kind of cute.
the linoleum.
TJ, what is it?
There's another train coming.
Oh, good. Thank you for watching, TJ.
I'm not sure if Jenna's relieved because our ride out is coming, or if it's because it can distract us from the whole Leo situation. We all move at once, squeezing past Leo out the backyard. He watches me pass him, dumbfounded.
I do feel kind of bad, because that would be immensely confusing.
Yeah. But also he's completely losing it. And also he knew, like Echo has this effect on people, obviously, but like he did know, like intellectually or whatever, that like there was some kind of not chase that existed.
Yeah, I mean,
because he knew that something that wasn't Chase was around before Chase got home.
Yeah, because what's Duke brought it up. Duke brought it up to us in front of Leo, and Leo seemed like he had known about it too. The way he reacted to it.
Yeah, it's like seemingly something that they'd already mentioned before. Like, so Leo had already seen that chase. And I'm pretty sure Leo saw that chase in the bathroom during that scene, too.
Yes.
So it's like being a reoccurring thing. But he can't keep it straight anymore. Like, he's losing touch. TJ's right. In the distance, I can see the lights on the train, slowly winding its way towards us. At this point, dawn is just breaking. Somehow, it's only been one night, even though it feels like it's been several weeks. Alright, for whatever reason that train is moving pretty fucking slow. We should be able to hop on it. Just hop it? I guess so. The train wails in the distance again, much closer now. Thought I was gonna have to drive alongside it with you all in the truck bed, honestly. The train does seem to be moving pretty slow. But as it gets closer, I realize that it's not exactly going to be a jog to run alongside it. I might be able to catch it at a full sprint.
People forget how fast trains actually go, because
everything big looks slow. Like semi-trucks and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, here's what we're gonna do. I'll get on first along with Kudzu. And we're gonna pull the rest of you on, alright? Carl fidgets nervously.
I don't know if I can run that fast.
You will. Now, I feel a paw land on my shoulder and turn me around. It's Leo. Hey. Hey, what is it? I look back at Flynn, wanting to hear what he's saying. Listen to me. Everything you said at the house, did you mean it? Huh? What did I say? Leo looks impatient. What you said about loving me, wanting to be with me forever. You meant that, right?
Oh, that's sad, though, man. That's like having a dream, and all these nice things happen. You wake up, and like none of it happened.
But he hasn't woken up.
But that's so sad. He got everything he wanted, and it wasn't even real.
What? The train is approaching. We have maybe a minute. What the fuck? Why are you acting like you don't fucking remember? Leo bristles, teeth bared, eyes narrowing. Oh my god, Leo, let's just get out of here first. I start to back away, toward the others as they continue to discuss jumping on the train. No. Leo grabs my shoulder, looking me right in the eye. He makes an effort to calm down, closing his eyes a moment before opening them. Then tell me now, are you going to stay with me when this is all over?
It's not a good time.
We can talk about this when we get on the train. No, I want to know before. I see Kudzu looking at us, and it looks like he's about to head over. Just tell the truth. That's all I want.
Uh-oh. This is I feel like this is a big one.
Imagine all
The people who thought Leo was cute. Woohoo!
Is he gonna kill us?
Okay, so that's exactly my first thought. It's like, he's like, I want to know now. And it's like, because you want to throw me in front of the train? Like, okay. So I am conflicted because I would like to say it's over because that's what I actually would do. I'm a little, but see, but oh my gosh.
It also culminates the character arc of Chase actually following through and overcoming the thing that he failed to do in the first place, which is actually telling Leo it's over. Because this whole thing is in part caused by the fact that he just left for years and never and just left this hanging
with no real closure.
Yeah, which is what put him in this state where he's got the anchor on his wrist forever and so on, and he's longing for Chase so hard that he hallucinates some kind of Silent Hill echo evil version of him that just is around somewhere.
Well, apparently it's the one that's being really nice to him because the other one told him how much he loved him. So maybe he should just stay with that one and just let us leave. Well,
yeah, it's some kind of being that he seems to have conjured into existence just from longing, but it's also like being seen by other people and tormenting them.
I think that is like an actual.
Which is why Duke wants to kill us.
Concept. I feel like there's like in mythology the ability to like create something out of intense emotion. Yeah, like that.
That's also the premise of like Final Fantasy summons, to the point where like in Final Fantasy, I think 10 might have worked that way also, but in Final Fantasy 14, like it becomes clear that like the deities that you're summoning, that the various factions are summoning in times of need, like they're not summoning the deity. They are, through mutual belief and sheer force of will, conjuring the thing that they think is the deity as like a creation, essentially. Like the deities did exist or do exist in that universe that represent all the different summons, but they don't summon that thing. They just create one.
Well, yeah, man creates God.
Their mental image of the thing. Which is like a commentary on religion on some level.
Yeah, then man creates God, and then everyone argues about what he looks like.
And there's a Silent Hill 2 parody happening, waiting to happen here. Because have you played Silent Hill 2?
Mm-mm.
In Silent Hill 2, I think it's Mary and Maria. James, the protagonist, his wife, I think, dies before the game even starts. You get this like this pure idea, like this poor woman and so on. What happened to her? And then you show up, and someone who looks exactly like Maria, but is named Mary, is around, and she's in like a red dress with like heavier makeup, and she's like got this like tone to her that's different, like it's more alluring and more like it's like a different like copy of the character, but it mirrors what could be the difference between what the two different Chases are doing and saying, and whether or not they're the person that they are, or versus who Leo wants them to be, and so on.
There's like, I was gonna say there's a million things I'd like to tangent on, but I'm not gonna, because I'll keep talking forever, because I just thought about a million things. Okay, Keith, what should we do?
Well, last time we did the thing that was the thing you would want to do to culminate Carl's arc, which was, we said not to get possessed because his arc was that he needed to like stand on his own.
Yeah.
and take responsibility and like realize his individuality, which ironically leads to him not coupling with Chase because he realizes that he doesn't need any of his friends. That he fully comes into his own.
You set him free.
Yeah, and so similarly, we desperately need to tell.
We need to tell Leo it's over.
Before we even chose routes, we've needed to tell him it was over.
We need to tell him it's over, and then okay, because the way I see it is worst case scenario, he just kills us, and then we can just go back to this decision and choose the other one. So yeah. I think let's do it's over, because I do think that is the correct answer. Just hopefully he doesn't actually kill us.
It's over. Leo's eyes bore into mine as I look back at him. Now isn't the time for this. In fact, it's the absolute worst time for something like this. But looking at him, I can tell that this is the only time for Leo. No, Leo. Leo's eyes widen, and he leans his head back just slightly, at the same time taking a step back. It's like I've physically pushed him. After everything that's happened, I just can't. Leo seems frozen, watching me, his arms hanging loosely at his sides. I hear the crunch of gravel next to me, and Kudzu's by my side.
Come on, we're going now.
Leo's hand moves then, to his waistband.
Oh no!
I have a moment to see him lift a gun from under his shirt.
Oh no!
His eyes on Kudzu.
Kudzu, no!
My body moves automatically, stepping in front of the raccoon and raising my hands up to my chest defensively. Leo has already frozen mid-motion, though, gun in front of his stomach, still pointing down at the ground as he stares past me.
What the fuck?
I feel Kudzu grab my arm from behind, his grip so tight that it's painful. But I keep my eyes on Leo, waiting and watching to see what direction the gun might go in. But then it drops.
Okay.
First his arm, which hangs loosely by his side once more, then the gun, which clatters to the gravel below. I flinch, expecting it to go off. It doesn't, and instead my ears are filled with the sound of the arriving train. Leo's eyes are back on mine, and I watch as tears start to spill out. Come on, Leo. We have to get out of here. Kudzu pulls me back, and I turn away from Leo and the town of Echo as I rejoin the rest of the group. Run! Flynn shoves Carl forward, and the ram takes off alongside the rails, looking over his shoulder at the train. The next thing I know, we're all running after Carl as the train catches up. I look back. Flynn waves both arms at the locomotive as it whizzes past, but there's a reaction from the driver. But if there's a reaction from the driver, I don't see it. I have just enough time to read the letters on the side of the engine. Prescott Railway, before it's moving past me down the tracks. I realize then that the train is quite short, maybe only 5 cars in all. We won't have many chances. Kudzu! Kudzu points at the caboose and starts running beside it, next to two little steps that drop down at the very end of the platform. Gracefully, the lizard jumps, landing his feet on the steps as his hands scramble for some kind of purchase. He finds it and pulls himself in, and the next second he's reaching out, holding onto a handle on the caboose as he grabs one of Kudzu's paws. With much more ease than Flynn had, Kudzu jumps up onto the steps and pulls himself onto the platform. I pass Carl at this point, the ram already losing steam. He calls after me in a hoarse, ragged voice.
Shit. I'm not gonna make...
Flynn grabs the ram as they pass, and Carl skips on the uneven gravel, and for a horrifying moment I think he's gonna fall. But Kudzu leans in and snatches him up as well, practically lifting Carl off the platform. Got those gardening arms. Jenna, who's right beside me, is next, reaching out a paw to Flynn.
She'll be fine. She runs fast.
And she weighs nothing.
Yeah.
She's canonically the fastest one of us. He grabs it, and Jenna easily jumps on, over the 2 steps.
Just whoop.
I think it's my turn next, but TJ slows down abruptly, and I move to the side to make room for him. Flynn grabs his arm, and TJ hesitates several times before Kudzu gets a grip on him as well, and he's able to step onto the first step. It's then that I realize that the train is picking up speed, and I'm starting to slow down. I move up beside the caboose, seeing Flynn's outstretched hand. Now that I'm next to it, I can see how terrifying this is. The wheels clack loudly in my ears, and I have no idea how I'm going to lift one leg up while keeping up the speed. But I get a grasp of Flynn's hand, and I see Kudzu's paw reaching out as well. The train's going way too fast now, and I know I'll only have one chance at this. I pull down on their hands and lift my feet up to land on the last step. Once my feet make contact, relief floods through me. I can't help myself as I grin and pull myself up the steps. I don't know if we're safe, or if this whole plan is going to work, but we'd carried it out somehow, and that feels good for once.
Did they go over? Yeah, I was like Leo. They didn't talk
Then
about
I remember
Leo.
Leo and look back, expecting to see him running next to the train. Instead, all I see is the brush and gravel rushing past. I look back towards the town, and I think I can make out a small figure in the distance, exactly where I'd left him. Where the hell is Leo? I stay silent, but Flynn follows my gaze out towards the desert. Shit. At that moment, I'm not sure what I should feel. Probably relief? But what I do feel is an incredible wave of sadness, like a physical wave smashing into my body. Probably the same thing Leo felt when I told him. Some part of me knows that this shouldn't matter right now. All that matters is that we might have just escaped with our lives, but leaving Leo behind. Someone I'd known most of my life. Someone who'd protected me, been a friend to me, guided me through the worst parts of my life. Someone who'd always emphasized togetherness and family, who'd always vowed to protect and stand by my side. That very same person had just chosen to stay behind. While we're the ones leaving, he's the one that decided to leave us. And as that solitary figure grows smaller and smaller, that idea hurts more than anything else right now. After seeing Janice get murdered, after being tortured by Brian, after nearly being murdered in a mine, this separation from my best friend is the knife being twisted into my chest. Unlike last time when a knife was twisted into our chest.
It's different.
I sink to my knees, holding onto the railing, wondering if I should have stayed behind. Because the Leo I'd just been with isn't the Leo I really know. He needed help, and I just abandoned him. I should have stayed behind. Hot tears spill over my cheeks as I stare at the metal platform. Fuck you. We say the words under my breath, but there's more rage behind them than anything I've ever said in my life. And they're meant for echo. Fuck you for killing Janice. Fuck you for hurting William.
Huh.
What happened to William?
William. William.
William's the jacked dude with the beard from the smoke room.
Oh.
Like the dog that has like facial hair somehow because furries.
Yeah, so this definitely isn't Sydney then.
No.
Which I think
no.
we kind of figured out last time because this voice is dropping.
Yeah,
like,
they previously
references.
mentioned Nikolai.
Nikolai, yeah.
And I'm like, so... Is it Samuel? I think the puma that with the white fur is the protagonist of the smoke room. And all the routes are the other characters, essentially. So I think Samuel's talking.
We're just carrying a ghost with us.
It's just happening. Fuck you for killing Duke. Fuck you for hurting Cliff. Cliff is the nerd otter twink guy.
There's always a nerd otter twink guy.
Fuck you for what's buried in the mines. Fuck you for hurting Nick. So things don't go great in the smoke room, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a...
Got bad news about every person named here, apparently.
It's foreshadowing.
Fuck you for twisting my friends into something they're not. Fuck you for hurting Cynthia and Murdoch. Murdoch's the fox? And fuck you for ruining my life. I sit there on my knees, sobbing hard, like I'm crying for two people at once. I can't see Leo anymore, but the thought of him alone, and probably hurting like me, is too much. I don't know how long I cry for, but it feels like a long time. After a while, I feel a paw on my shoulder. I imagine the rest of my friends standing there, staring at me, but when I turn my head, it's only Kudzu. The raccoon is crouched next to me, his head turned towards me, a look that can only be described as understanding on his face. In a bit of a daze, I rub my face on my shoulder to clear my vision. Sorry.
Don't be.
Kudzu says it automatically as he rubs my shoulder gently.
Do you want to get up? The rest of them went inside.
I stay crouched there a moment, watching the blur of train tracks in front of me as we continue through the desert. Give me a second. My nose is all stuffy, so my voice comes out clogged. The tiny lights of echo on the endless expanse of desert get smaller and smaller, and so too does the feeling of tension in my chest. And with the tension goes the sad, angry presence in my head. He goes quiet again. It makes me feel a bit better, but each time I think about Leo, that knife gets a little deeper. Kudzu nods and squeezes my shoulder. After a few moments of silence, he speaks.
You know that someone I lost a few years ago?
I wipe my eyes again and nod.
He was my boyfriend.
I keep silent as I stare at the tracks, almost hypnotized. That strange feeling of wanting to jump tickles at the back of my brain, then fades slowly.
One night, we were walking along like we usually did, and we got mugged. We should have just given him everything, but my boyfriend, of course, stepped forward, confronted the guy, and got shot.
I glance back at the raccoon with no idea what to say. Kudzu shakes his head like he's coming out of a dream.
I'm just saying that I'm here. I might know what this feels like, you know?
I cough a little to clear my throat. I mean, he didn't die. Yeah, as far as
Yeah,
we
I was
know.
gonna say.
Kudzu shrugs.
Breaking up can feel like that sometimes.
It's a lot more than that. It was all of that. I wave in the direction of the town. It just feels like I lost him right when we got away.
We're gonna get people to go back for him.
Yeah. I let out a big breath before slowly standing up, my knees popping as I do. Kudzu stands with me as I lean against the railing, choosing not to look out at the town. After a moment, I turn around to face Kudzu, and then I'm hugging him. There's no hesitation this time as he hugs back. I let myself lean into him, letting him support me, feeling the fur on his neck poke through mine. We stay like that for a good 5 minutes, vibrating along with the train. Finally, I pull back. Alright, we should probably go in. I don't think it's all that safe out here anyway. Without letting go of me, Kudzu opens the door and guides me inside. My friends are all sitting in little seats in the dark, swaying along with the train's movements. Carl sits closest to us, and he looks up at the sound of the door.
Hey, Chase. Are you okay?
I laugh. No. Carl smiles sadly.
Yeah. Sorry.
You're fine, man. I see Jenna and TJ together on the seat, further along the wall, and Flynn sits opposite of them. Further still, a small shape sits leaning against the opposite end of the caboose, curled up on a seat.
I just imagine him curled up like a cat.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Wait. Oh, no, it's Clint.
It's Clint.
Oh, so I thought it was going to be TJ.
No. Flynn occasionally glances at him, but the polecat doesn't seem interested in coming closer to us. Kudzu guides me to sit next to Carl, and I make room so the raccoon can sit next to me.
So, where do you think we're going?
I feel Carl twitch against me as he sits there, hunched over. Anywhere's better. As long as it's not hell, I guess.
I guess.
Kudzu's arm goes around my shoulders automatically, and we sit in silence for what feels like a long, long time. And I don't mind it. I wouldn't mind it if this was the rest of my life, honestly.
Oh!
For the first time in several days, I feel calm and safe.
Why did it stop? Okay, I got scared.
Saturation change, yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Soon enough, though, the darkness of the caboose is illuminated with occasional flashes of light. Flynn looks out the window. Peyton! With a grating screech, the train starts slowing down. I'm a little surprised. I guess I thought the train wasn't even real, and it would just go on forever. But now it comes to a slow, stuttering stop. We all sit in the dark, quiet. Listening, and then Flynn stands up and opens the door. Soft orange light spills inside.
What the hell?
Out of the doorway, I see rows of train tracks occupied with other boxcars. Someone moves into view. It's an older-looking fox in overalls. He stares up at us like we're aliens.
Where the hell did you come from?
A moment of silence goes by before Flynn clears his throat. We are from Echo.